Ladies and gentlemen, we're timely and need to begin. We have a couple of members who will lose at 6:30, and I would like to see if we can move along so that when we lose them, we lose us. And that will take some cooperation. With that being said, this meeting of the National Heritage Area Task Force of the County of Santa Clara, and I'll read this into the record in order to make it official, is in session. It's a special meeting, October 25th, 2016. It's 5:30 p.m. and we're in the Board of Supervisors chambers at 70 West Henning Street on the first floor, and in the city of San Jose, California. That being said, we can dispense with the roll call, and Ruth can keep track of the attendance since she knows the board members well by now.
No more seats.
Well, we gotta have us all up here. So let's get some chairs and get all of the task force members up here.
There should be some chairs in the room behind it.
Good. Some of you stalwarts, rather than lose time, assist by going into the board chambers, the boardroom right here, and bringing some chairs out. And I said that for those that are listening on the recorder, because we had a couple of task force members who were sitting in the audience, and in order for them to be able to take part in this discussion, we need to have them sitting at the rail. And as we move along now through the administrative portion of the agenda, they'll be moving up to the rail, and we appreciate those of you who have been helping us get some chairs in making that evolution possible. As I was saying, Ruth knows the members of the task force, and therefore she will dispense with calling the roll, but instead will keep track of the attendance by recording your involvement directly. We are now at the public comment portion of the presentation. Any of you who would like to make a public comment on matters not agendized may do so now. We have one person to speak on item number 5, and I have no other public comments. Jack, would you like to speak now, or would you like to speak at another time on the agenda?
Well, I think more appropriate to speak at when the outreach committee report is made.
All right, and we'll take, we might fill out the yellow sheet in order to have it in the record properly. Let me note to you that we are operating very carefully, as we will always operate carefully, but especially because we have a new county council with us today, a fine young fellow, Chris Children. I mispronounced that, Chris, help me.
It's pronounced Chaladin, but close.
Chaladin. Chris Chaladin. And Chris is here to mind our legal matters for us, and we appreciate you doing that, Chris. Again, remember that I see some folks in the back, that if you would like to speak on a matter, you need to fill out the yellow cards, and we'll pick those up and associate them with the item on the agenda with which you would like to make a presentation. Are there public comments on matters not currently agendized? Let the record show that there are none, and we'll move now to the second page of the agenda, item number 3. National Heritage Area Task Force Staff Liaisons reports. This is Steve Preminger and Janice Rombeck, who are both their weight in gold. Would either of you like to make a comment?
After you said that, now we have to.
You betcha.
The thing I wanted to report on, and I think this will come up a little bit later in the outreach report, is I have made application with the Cities Association so we can come before that body. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the Cities Association, it's composed of representatives from every city in Santa Clara County. And in my day job, I attend that on behalf of the county, not as a voting member, but just, I think of myself as ex officio. I'm not sure what they think of me as. But they are a good group, and the presentation for the National Heritage Area is the kind of thing that they like to see because it is a community-wide application, and it's going to benefit all of Santa Clara County, including all the cities. So that will take place, assuming we get approved. I checked with the chair's calendar, and he is available. It's for Thursday, November 10th. What I've asked of them is that if they agree with the presentation, that they approve it as an organization, and that they refer the presentation to their individual cities, and that we then be allowed to follow up with each of the individual representatives to get access to their city council agendas. And at that point, we would go for that approval as well.
Thank you, Steve. I think that's a very tactful and appropriate approach. It's very consistent with the proposal that's going to be coming from the outreach working group later in the agenda today, and it allows us to move ahead with a broad base of support. Thank you. Any other comments from you? Okay, Janice?
Well,
I plan to give a presentation on our website, which goes live on Thursday, but I'm having trouble accessing it, so that's going to have to come later.
Could you give us a verbal summary, and then if it comes up later, you can do that?
Not really. Yes.
I understand. All right. Something about a picture being worth 1,000 words. We'll wait for the picture. And thank you very much. Any other comments from the staff members? All right. Then let's move on to item number 4. This is receiving a report from the Outreach Strategy Working Group, VonRueden, and that will lead us then into the action item that is item number 5. David?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. At our last meeting, we were charged with developing an outreach plan that would solicit basically themes that we could use in our NHA application. And even though the themes committee has developed a list of themes, the idea is we want to make sure that there are not other themes out in the community that others think are important and should be considered when collectively we evaluate the themes or themes that we want to include in our application. So anyway, that was generally what we were asked to do. Our committee met a couple times since our last task force meeting and developed a plan that I can outline here briefly. It is included in your agenda packet today. But basically, we're asking for comments at this time and ultimately approval of a plan to move forward. So the first point in our outreach plan, again, this is focused at this point primarily on soliciting input from the public relative to theme, ideas, and concepts. So that's what we're focused on initially here. And the first point has to do with our website. So Janice, give me a quick update on that. We'll see more of that a little bit later, it sounds like. But the website would be one tool to basically advertise, inform the public, and solicit comments via the county website. The next item would be to have staff write an article that would be published in the Mercury News initially, at least. Again, the purpose of this would be to tell people what's going on, advertise subsequent community meetings, and again, introduce people to the concept of the NHA project and identify that we are looking for ideas and comments, which they could then provide via the website, via public meetings. Then the next item that we have considered are just face-to-face community meetings. So our approach includes a series of 4 meetings. These are primarily focused at the 15 cities in the county, but others certainly would be invited. But we wanted to make sure that we connect with all of the cities in the county here initially. This again would fit with Steve just told us about too. So, and given 15 meetings, the organization, the logistics, we decided that, geez, why don't we kind of do this and not in 15 locations, but let's consolidate and let's do this basically the same meeting at 4 times at 4 different locations. And then we would cluster or specifically invite cities in the North County to one location, cities in the Central County to another location, cities in the Central to another location. Certainly everybody could come, but it just seems most convenient. We also felt that it would be best in terms of the Robert's rules and all of the legalities surrounding our task force, that we should have them at a public facility such as a city hall or this particular facility. And actually this is suggested to be the first meeting here at the county in the middle of next month. So these would be at city halls with ample parking, ample seating, and should be able to facilitate any type of A-sized group that we would get to attend. So that's the third point in our plan is getting approval to approach the public, primarily the cities, through this process. One public meeting here at the county, and then subsequently before Christmas or before the middle of December, number of meetings, applications will be determined in the North, Central, and South County areas. And then finally, as a prelude to that public meeting process, we would have our chairman or Dave Cortese, president of the county supervisors, write a letter and address them to each of the mayors at each of the 15 cities, again advertising NHA, asking for their permission to conduct public meetings at the facility, and to then pass on the invitation to attend the public meeting at the given location. So use each mayor and their respective outreach infrastructure to get the word out for the specific meeting. So our chairman has agreed to do that, and so between he or Mr. Cortese will figure out how to proceed on that particular issue. So
David, the president, would like to send that letter, and I'm happy to defer to him if that will be coordinated by Janice.
okay, great. So that is a good first move. So that's the essence of our plan. Sort of included in that is our proposal, basically, that our outreach committee would physically conduct these meetings, or they would be prepared and conducted as part of our committee activities. Others certainly can participate. We haven't yet determined how many speakers amongst our group. Mainly we want to hear from the public, so that this isn't envisioned at this point, at least, to be a litany of all things NHA, but an introduction and a solicitation of ideas. But we will use, our members to, along with the chairman and perhaps Mr. Cortese again, to do opening comments, little introduction on what's going on. Jack has been preparing a PowerPoint slideshow that we can use to sort of introduce the NHA concept and basically solicit and discuss theme ideas that we get from the public. So that's the plan. Again, I know April has volunteered to be a part of these meetings, and we would certainly encourage others to participate. But at this point, we envision this to be a function of our outreach committee responsibility. So again, you can comment, disagree or not, however the task force feels, but that's the proposal before us all at this point.
All right. Are there questions now regarding?
Just want to make sure that, I know that most of the cities in the counties have historical societies, and that they would be included in that letter to the mayor. I'm sure you've thought of that, but
All right, I think the official communication from the county board chair would not be to a city commission, but it would be to the mayor. And then it would be up to the mayor to communicate appropriately to his staff. I think it would be.
they're not usually commissions. I mean, I know it's San Jose, but so often they're just an historical society independent from.
And we have to be that's a little awkward, Colleen. I know what you're trying to do, and I think that's laudable, but let me give you an example here. The county has an historical heritage commission. We have a chair right here that is formally designated and powerful. But there are a dozen historical societies in San Jose. No, there are dozens of historical societies in San Jose and throughout the county that if we tried to communicate with all of them, we could never do it. We would undoubtedly miss some. And so we have to be careful. And if we miss some and communicated with others, we would be immediately charged with favoring those that we reach and not favoring those that we miss. So we have to use the formal policy people to do that communication. If we communicate with the mayor of a city, and then some of the city historical people were not included, it's the mayor's fault. And we'll.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say, we are reaching out to.
I'm sorry, Janice.
I'm sorry, we are reaching out to all of the historical societies, museums, anyone who has an interest or passion in history. We have a flyer for our meeting on November 15th, and so we are trying to find them.
We'll do our best, but if we do miss some, it's really the responsibility of that mayor to communicate with his or her city. Again, other questions? All right, let's just take it down. Oh, David, did you have a response?
Yeah, just a little follow-up on that. David has been working very hard to consolidate and update a list of historical societies. Maybe she can just address that for a moment.
Whether it goes out for public outreach or to this commission, I took the directory that we were given by Janice and I input it on my computer, and I have gone through every single one of them and gotten a recent website that we can go right to link. If the data is the wrong address or an old address or an old contact, you can go to the site and see if there's anything newer that you can use. And I really wanted it for the commission people because we're all various groups that we represent in many ways. And I thought we could, the ones who are Hispanic and the ones who are Chinese and the ones who are Filipino and so forth can go on to get those groups and say, we want to have a say. And that's what I felt for the commission. So I have it as a Word file. I can make it a PDF file and send it to everybody that's here or other commissioner. So if you want that copy, just let me know. It's datelinj@gmail.com.
Yeah, the person to receive the material, communication material, is Janice. So,
Okay.
us individually,
I sent it to her thing.
that's outstanding. Thank you for that help. All right, Sonia, Serena, pardon me.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to add, or actually put a request in as a member of the theme working group that when we are gathering information for the comment from the public, that we have a written process, because I think that interpretive efforts, we've had conflicts thus far, and I really don't want further conflicts. I would prefer to see a process that allowed people to, or we gave guidelines, the proposed theme be submitted 500 words or less, and if any references or sources can support the idea proposed, then that also be offered. I think that would help our experts Jack and John and the theme committee to filter through them rather than, I don't know how those meetings will be facilitated, but I think that that gives us a better opportunity to track what we're receiving, the substance, and filter through it, and then also try to compile them into groups and categories.
All right. Let's ask April, who has some experience in this, to do a kind of a half-page description of what's a guideline as to how you submit your ideas.
I think that is an excellent idea. Thank you, Samira, for that. It's always better to see something in writing than to try to recall it by memory afterwards. So thank you. That's a
And if we could include that, Janice, in a letter that goes out from David to these cities, that would be helpful. Good. All right. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
Just for my clarifications that we are not only reaching out to all of the 15 mayors in the county, but we are also going to reach out to the general public. Am I correct?
Well, it's an iterative process. We're going to work with the mayors at first, and as Janice has indicated, we're going to attempt to communicate with everyone that's interested in historic preservation. And that's a spotty process. We will never be quite successful, but we'll do as good a job as we possibly can. And thanks very much, Darren, for her statement.
And so if there are any minority media that would like to interview our committee, our commission, so who would they be contacting?
They should contact Janice. And I think the first person that they should interview would be President Cortese, because he's a sponsor of us from the Board of Supervisors. If that's not possible, then I'm happy to communicate with them as chair.
Is there going to be any opportunity to have an outreach meeting in the community, in a community center?
The outreach meeting, the first cycle of outreach meetings, would be in the city council chambers. And as David has recommended, if we approve the recommendation, there'll be one in the north, somewhere centrally located in the north. One would be kind of in the West Valley, so centrally located, and one in the South County. And this would follow the one here, the first one here, in the County Board of Supervisors chambers, which is intended for the central part of the city.
I guess I'm sorry, I'm in a community center.
No, not the first round.
There won't be other rounds then?
And the reason why is because there are so many community centers that it's hard to choose one over another without being shown favorites. If we stick with the city council and board of supervisors chambers, those are neutral, governmentally oriented official buildings. Everyone knows where they are, they all have parking, and so we decided, at least we're recommending, that we stick with the city council chambers, and they're free, of course. That helps. Other questions or comments? Okay, we have two comments from the public. Chris Stanton, do you want to come forward? So remember, this is on the issue, Chris, that's before us.
Absolutely. I'd like to, Honorable Chairman, members of the task force, I'd like to talk with you about outreach, and I think a valuable method of doing so is not just a website, but also a newsletter. I've just spent almost 2 years bringing up a really high-quality newsletter. Janice has examples of my work. She'll be able to brief you about it, and I would love to participate in perhaps 1 or 2 cycles of that on a volunteer basis, and start getting a way to inform the public and attract even more opinions and suggestions and ideas. Not everyone is going to have time to go to a website to inform themselves. And so if we can do outreach with a newsletter through Dave Cortese's office, through the various mayor's offices, this will provide us with a nice way to update and visually stimulate people to think about this in a deeper fashion. Also, I wanted to suggest, as a matter of outreach, there's numerous phases to the NHA, and of course, the most immediate one is its educational value. It would be great for field trips, stuff like that. But There's also, of course, it needs to be informative, which is a little different from educational. And beyond that, it does need to be entertaining. And don't think I'm saying let's Disneyfy this thing, because that's right out. At the same time, though, there's a vital function that this can serve for the entire valley, and that's in an ambassadorial role. I know this sounds odd, but when companies are trying to attract talent here to the valley, if that talent can come here and in the recruiting process take part in part of the NHA and see what a rich place this is to live and what a valuable experience it can be to reside here in the Santa Clara Valley, I think that's a very important role that we need to consider. And finally, of course, I'd like to also see some job creation coming out of this. And I've already talked with Janice earlier this week, and so I've given her some ideas that I have of ways that we can actually get this ball rolling even ahead of receiving the NHA designation. But I will save that for later. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Good ideas. Kirk, Vartan?
Good evening, task force members. I'm happy to be able to talk to you about something that I'm passionate about. First, I'll say my background is not in this area. I'm not from this area. I'm from the East Coast originally, so my historical references are fairly limited for the area. So I'm not engaged and excited about this because of my vast historical contributions. That's not my thing. My thing is I like doing community outreach and community engagement and involving community and figuring out ways to actively inform and engage people so they can participate. And to me, that when I saw the NHA's purpose and some of the things that are criteria for the National Park Service, the public participation process is critical throughout the entire thing. And one of the things that I would like to suggest, and when I read this particular agenda, I'd like to offer an addition, kind of an addendum to it, if you will, or a friendly amendment to whatever you guys are suggesting, and that is to engage the cities a little bit more aggressively in this process, and not just with a letter, but to say we want to present to you cities in your forum, in your hometown, at your convenience. So in real time with these other 4 sessions that are going on, that you actually get on the council agendas, their agendas, and present to them. And I would further suggest that in order to have consistency and continuity through that you have a single person do that with select members of a task force, of your task force, that have relevance to the city. For example, Diane McKenna in Sunnyvale, she has a direct relationship to Sunnyvale, or someone else in Mountain View, or in Gilroy, or wherever the cities are that people have they feel they have a direct connection with. I spoke about this to your consultant, John, and he's supportive of the idea because he can't be here. Jack's here as well, but John can't be here. And he had offered to actually tailor a presentation, a small one, not the one that Jack is going to share with a little more detail. I'm talking about more of a, let people know what an NHA is, kind of like a NHA 101. The NHA, what are we doing at this, why are we doing this at Santa Clara County? How can we do this, and what is our value vision, with bullet points of the themes that we already kind of know about. Not detailed, it's really high level. And then third, expectations. What do we want from the cities? What do we expect from them? And how can we help them participate and encourage them to engage their citizenry in this process? So I'm offering personally to be a member of that, to give those presentations with a member of the task force on a per city basis, to go around and march to every one of these cities in a fairly aggressive timeline, 4 to 6 to 8 weeks. I don't think we need to look at the significant amount of detail that we want to get to. People don't know what an NHA is, and we want to give them that understanding and be able to. And that's the end of my time. Thank you.
Sure. Kirk, thanks for your enthusiasm. And you have kind of skipped ahead a little bit. We are intending to make reports to the individual cities after we have some product. And that would follow the 4 meetings, 4 inaugural meetings. And we'll have to see how that sorts out. But we'll have to work with our outreach committee that's really beginning to hit their strides with a good system here in order to make sure we don't get ahead of the process. All right. Is there any other public comment? All right. and we'll move on to item number 5.
Well, I wanted to comment on 5.
You have it down here under item 5. Did you want to speak under item 5 or under item 5?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you.
Where I suggested that we're moving on to item number 5 now.
Oh, I thought we were on 5, I'm sorry.
No, we've been talking about item 4, but it is confusing because item 4 morphs
Oh, I
in
thought we were doing
the report. The report under item 4 morphs into the action item under item 5. And so we are on item 5 now. And Jack, you're chomping at the bit. Why don't you proceed to make your presentation?
No, I'm not chopping, I'm enjoying what you're doing.
Chomping at the bit is a compliment.
You've had good comments and good questions. At Dave's committee and at April's committee, there have been extraordinary interest and energy expressed for doing outreach and getting themes and developing the county's pitch to the cities and to the community groups for participating in the National Heritage Area Project. And the more that we include them, the more we will understand what our responsibility is for making this as broad and as encompassing of the whole spirit of our place, what's really special about this valley and about this project and what we can do with it. So what we talked about a little in Dave's committee was creating a PowerPoint or a presentation to the cities that would include what is a NHA, and I think Kirk hit on that very well. We really do need to get that message out, but we need to select the targets, and I think that they should be, as was said over here, the community groups, and that needs to be a principal goal, I think, of our outreach, is to include those people because they are the ones that have the family stories, they have the community stories, they have the body of the content that we want to express to the world what is so special about here, because what is so interesting about the people who are here in this county is that they came here and didn't leave, all the way from the very beginning. We still have, like the original Italian families, it's amazing, we still have Indian people here from the mission days and from the rancho days that are still tied to those days, and their family histories are here. Their baptismal records through their family Bibles tell their story.
I don't want to run out of time now. You have a presentation before us?
Well, I gave that to you, and I hope everybody can get a chance to look at it and make comment on it. And perhaps we'll get a chance to take that back to the outreach committee and incorporate those comments. My hope is that we will get your earnest, enthusiastic buy-in on this kind of a presentation to the cities and their community organizations, and that's the purpose of this PowerPoint, which is really just some slides. But if you have any questions about it now, I'd love to hear them. But lacking that, that's what I wanted to say, Chairman.
Jack, thank you very much. I'd really like to have April and her themes committee have a look at it. It's close, but it doesn't seem to follow your, what's the key word that you use, April?
Well, it's not,
It's initiative.
we've been working on this for the last 2 or 3 days, and it does need to be polished and follow the themes a little more closely.
Well,
but we're getting there.
There was one buzzword that you used in your reports that relates to, and we just talked about it when we were,
I believe it was innovation.
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 That buzzword is the key word. It seems to be the tree upon which you can hang the other firsts and innovative things on, all the way back to the Native Americans living here in comfort, one through the Spanish and
So we need to emphasize that. We also need to bring in our natural environment more. We really have not we spend a lot of time focusing on our innovation and not on the situation we have needing to improve the natural resources that we've taken advantage of, and they need our help. So that needs to be also part of our pitch.
Maybe that's the next innovative thing we need to do here. Let's, because we're off the subject of the action relating to what David's committee has recommended to us, which is the item, not number 5. I hope the task force would not mind me referring this, the presentation that Jack has provided us, to April and to John G. To see how it might be integrated into something that can be used as a consistent outreach tool.
We would welcome that.
All right. Is there any objection to that referral? There is no objection. That's the action. Okay. The next presentation is Kirk Vartan.
Good evening again. I broke my comments into 2 parts. The first one was kind of to introduce the idea of outreaching to the cities, which I know you guys are doing. It's great to hear that that the city staff with Ms. Preminger engaging at the city level, at the mayor level, or whoever engages at the city conference. But my comment about engaging the cities was more timely than whether you're going to do it or not. I'm sure you're planning on doing that, but the opportunity to do this right up front, to give that kind of honor to the cities, to show that we're willing to sacrifice some of our convenience to actually present to the cities just an overview, just to give them a heads up of what's coming down before we even have the information that we know we're going to be doing, I think is a real opportunity to show how they can engage now, how we can engage them now, and maybe even solicit them to engage earlier than they might have even known about. But it's almost like we're giving them the opportunity and the courtesy to participate soon, to let them know right up front, and not a matter of will we get to them? Of course we're going to get to them. We have to get to them in order to get certified as an NHA. I think every city needs to sign a letter of support, or at least they should. I assume, I don't know that for sure. I'm just assuming they would. Show a letter of support. So I guess my request or my comment, and I don't offer a suggestion without coming up with a solution as well. I offered my personal time to do this as a level of consistency. I'm comfortable doing something like this. I'm comfortable with what you guys, it's whatever you guys authorize and approve is what I would partner with somebody. Again, that's just an option. You don't have to use that. It's just something that I'm willing to put out there as a volunteer. But my real comment, or what I'm stressing is the timeliness of it. Don't wait till after you have the 4 meetings to start to engage and to see where it falls out. My comment or my request was to do it early, even if you don't get on the agenda right away. At least you've outreached to them, you've told them what's coming, you've given them an outline of what to expect, and that way they can say, okay, I got it. I think I have time on November 18th. I can sneak in for 10 minutes. Because we're talking about a 10-minute presentation, probably more like 6 or 7 with 3 minutes of Q&A. Not going to be able to get into a lot of detail, but enough to cover what is an NHA, why are we doing an NHA, and what do we expect. So those are
getting to be a little redundant.
Well,
the idea is a good one.
Okay, so that's my request. So that's my request, is to do it sooner rather than later, and I'm here to help support that if you guys are interested. So thank you.
Thank you very much for your good thoughts. All right, let's move back now to the action item as it was recommended by the Outreach Committee. And David, let me have you, yes?
I just wanted to note that if we're having December meetings with city councils or with mayors, that December is the month when many city councils are just out of the town hall. They're not there. They're on vacation. And I just wanted to bring that up.
We're not having December meetings with city councils.
Okay.
We're having December meetings in city council chambers.
Chambers with...
And it's us that will be meeting there.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was mayors who we were dealing with. Okay. Because I know that they're not there in December.
there will be a meeting that we will be communicating with the mayors or the representatives, as Steve talked about earlier, but that's with the city selection committee. It used to be the city selection committee, now it's called the Intercity Council or something like that. And that'll be an information meeting.
That's not the first thing that you're talking about.
No, this is not the meetings like the meetings that Kirk is suggesting that we have report backs to each one of the city councils. We're not going to be able to set that up between now and the end of the year.
Yeah.
We've already looked at that logistic, and it's not going to happen between now and the end of the year. The agendas are all cluttered, and so we're going to be talking about that after the beginning of the coming year. James, could you state your recommendation now in the form of a motion?
You got a question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Larry?
Yeah, so several things. One, I recognize what Kirk is trying to do is try to get the public, the city officials aware of it so they're not blindsided by having public meetings in their area. I don't think it should be on city council agendas, but I think we could talk to the staff of the different mayors to give them a short presentation so they know what's happening, so they're not startled when they first see these things happen in the area. So maybe just a short email to
Larry, that's not going to happen between now and Christmas.
And that's the second point is, well,
It's impossible. The mayor's schedules are
I'm just saying, well, alert the staff. The staff is there.
well, they are going to be alerted by the letter that's going to be coming from the president of the board of supervisors to the mayor.
Okay. And then the second thing is having meetings in December. Everybody's busy running around with various events, end of year parties, celebrations, trying to get things, projects finished at work. And so December, can the things be done in January instead?
They can, but the longer we defer them out,
I'm just talking about the quality and the impact, input that you get, because you have a harder time getting enough people at the meeting in December.
my sense is if they're agendized well enough in advance, you get some people there. If, though, you don't want to do that, I can understand why, and it can be done in January, but that will be a little bit in variance with the recommendation of the committee. And so, think about that, and if you want to make the modification, then do so when the time comes in the debate.
And then one other point is always having at city council, at city chambers. I was wondering if you could do it at, like for example, on the east side of San Jose at the Mexican Heritage Facility, for example. They have large meeting rooms too, and it's a little further east.
Yeah, I strongly recommend against that because there are dozens of those kinds of buildings around, and every one of them, when they find out what they're doing, is going to want to be the host. And I don't know how you choose one over another.
I was somewhat concerned that we outreach to the ethnic communities because having it at here or some of the other government centers, that's why I did suggest the community centers.
Rosa, I think Janice is indicating that with Davlin's help, we're going to be communicating with every organization we can identify. And they've gone through their heritage registry and have literally hundreds of organizations that are going to get letters describing what we're doing and inviting them to make comments. But we're not going to be able to meet with everyone. We're going to be able to invite them to meetings that are centrally located, but we can't meet with everyone. That's not a possibility. All right, Serena?
I'm sorry, I just want to clarify. So with the the process of providing a written proposal of, say, 500 words or less, some amount of content that we would be able to manage at the theme level and the consultant level would be able, I think ethnic communities would be amenable because transportation is a tremendous issue for families on that side of town, getting to downtown. So would it be mitigated by allowing those communities to submit written proposals? So they don't have to submit the written proposal at that time, but we'll be accepting them through President Cortese's office?
Yes, and when the time comes, I can show the website, but we will have an opportunity for people to register, we have a URL, which will be, or we have a web address and also an email address that people can email us anything they want, proposals, yeah, submit ideas, proposals.
So proposing wouldn't be linked to going to the meeting necessarily. An organization or community would be able to
Oh,
participate.
absolutely, and I'll talk more about it when it's.
Okay. Just it sounds like that would be mitigated by that process.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Okay, are we ready for the motion? All right, David.
Yeah, I'll try to make this understandable. So I move that the Outreach Working Group recommendations be accepted by the task force for implementation. Those include establishment of the website, preparation of a newspaper article to be published primarily in the Mercury News or initially in the Mercury News, and that we conduct a initial series of 4 community meetings held at county headquarters, county government centers, or city hall as soon as we can logistically make those schedules. And finally, I think the letter issue has already been addressed. I don't know if that has to be approved, but that could be included if necessary in the motion. And in our communications, I guess I'll include that April will provide us guidelines for soliciting ideas on themes so that we have a standardization of information coming into us.
All right. Does everyone have a comfort level with what that motion needs to accomplish?
Could we put a timeline on that?
Which part? The meetings?
The meetings.
Okay, by
They
what
will
time?
happen by,
Well, these initial meetings are planned to be completed by the middle of December. That is the intent. I don't know that Janice has reached out to each of the city halls yet to confirm availability, but that is the intent. So there wouldn't be a long period of time, between these. They may be, 2 meetings a week, but one might be in Mountain View and one might be in Morgan Hill. And obviously we try to utilize personnel so we're not all having to do everything. But that is our intent.
The first meeting in these chambers has been tentatively identified to be on November 15th. I don't think we have copies of that.
At what time today?
Could you say it again?
It's 6 p.m. November 15th here in this chambers, and my office has a massive outreach plan to get the word out to the entire database and in the community papers, in the Mercury News op-ed is supposed to run the first week of November. So we'll really try to get a group here. We figured it was after the election and before Thanksgiving, so had a chance of and I do really understand the need to go to neighborhoods, and I think maybe that is the next phase, to engage, to go where people live and engage, smaller groups. But anyway, we have a flyer which I'll get approved, and then I can send it to all of you to be able to copy and send to, or just email to your folks and to all the people that you know. So.
Larry?
I had one question about the time of day of these other meetings. Would they be in the evenings or on weekends so that the public can attend?
Evenings.
Yeah, the weekday evenings, 5:30, 6 o'clock start.
5:30 is hard for people to get down to Morgan Hill and go, or traffic jams on 101. 6:30, I'd recommend.
All right. Well, let's work with the mayor of the city that's going to be hosting to see what seems to work for them, maybe. Jimmy?
Is it okay to second?
Oh, yes, thank you for, my old Uncle Roberts just was happy about that.
I don't want to be naughty about those who have questions, because I realize I see faces here that haven't been working on the subgroups. But if we have enough time to answer these immediate questions, I'd like to second the motion.
We have a second to the motion. That formally puts the motion in play before the group. Thanks, Jimmy. Are there other questions now or comments? Okay, we're going to be voting on the motion soon. Down.
We need to include seniors. I think we need to really also, as far as mayors are concerned and city councils eventually, that we need to get senior commission chiefs, if nothing else, or chairs, whatever. And I belong to a mobile home park that's a senior park. There are 10 senior mobile home parks in San Jose alone. I'm sure there's other senior mobile home parks in the rest of the county. Just getting them and having them tell stories is a good aspect. I mean, I'd like to have those included in the outreach.
As much as we can, certainly will. All right, the one thing is for sure, we won't catch everybody. So, we'll do the best we possibly can. See, the difficulty we have here, and the reason why I'm very pleased that David's come forward with a time-specific sequence of actions, is that if we continue to try to do outreach to finer and finer groups, smaller and smaller groups, we will never get the project done. We will be doing outreach 5 years from now, because this is a county of 2 million people with a huge history, and we'll just never reach everybody. So we have to at some point say we've done the very best we can, and then proceed from the outreach phase into the application phase. And that can't be too long now. We have a limited amount of funding and a limited amount of patience on the part of our sponsors. Okay, now we have a motion pending before us. Are there any other questions on the motion? Okay. Now, all of those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Are there any abstentions? Let the record show that it was unanimous. All right, David, you got to be careful about what you ask for, because you might get it. Okay, we've got a busy period of time now, between now and Christmas, for the members of this task force. You don't need to attend all the meetings, but you need to attend some of them, so that there is a good showing of the task force members at these meetings. I will attend all of them, and I know the outreach committee intends to be attending most of them. And in April, I hope you can attend most of them too, because you're the link with the themes committee. So please do watch for that schedule. For schedules November 15th, you already know it, right here. And try to be involved in as many of these as you possibly can. All right? Is there anything more to come forward as in regard to item number 5?
Mr. Chairman, I think it's Janice.
Yes.
I think it might be appropriate with this item to show the website. Since it's
good idea.
Part of outreach.
Please proceed.
Okay. So Ruth, you need to. So I want to start by saying this is a start. This template is what all the pages of the county website are going to look like. So we have room to, add a lot more to it. In areas down here, we have as you can see, a calendar that we'll be using. It probably should say National Heritage Area Project or Initiative, the task force. I'll go through a few of these. So we have, the ribbon that has, categories. We can add them. We can, change the names, whatever works. So there are all of you. We have a purpose statement. The initiative, we have Dave's message from the State of the County speech when he first announced that he wanted to do this. There's that. We have an interactive map that is a start. Again, it's a start. But what we did, I had the GIS map people start with the historical landmarks, the state recognized historical landmarks in Santa Clara County. And what they did, let's see. So you click on one of them and they, it tells a little bit about it. There's actually supposed to be in categories. I don't know. We had photos with them that we were uncomfortable that we had the copyright or that they were usable. But each of these colors is a category. So there's architecture right now, and again, we can change all the categories. So there's architecture, landscape, I don't know why it's not here giving me the categories, but anyway. Usually there's a kind of a directory here that says what category a landmark and they're color coded. So anyway, we'll be able to add to that. It's like I said, it is just a beginning, but we have something to go on. But also under maps, we can have many other maps. We get links to other maps, and so, but we wanted to kind of map our history to show a visual. All right. Okay, so we have all of those. We have these other entry points. Also has the map telling our story. I should say telling our story, and then I think I wanted to say, getting involved or join us, or here's how you can. There'll be some meeting agendas under this one on the far right. We can also add them. We can have as many as 6. We can add more photos. We can have this banner be, this is kind of a generic Santa Clara County banner or photo, but we can also have a rolling banner that has different aspects of what we're working on or different aspects of our history. We can have, we can change out that photo. We can have a kind of a collage if we wanted, instead of one banner photo of what we're working on and the different, the innovation, diversity, the different themes.
Where would the announcement of these meetings occur, Janice? The meetings we just approved.
That would be, sorry. It could be on our calendar, but probably we could, yeah. I thought we had that, but anyway, we could even add an entry point that says outreach, maybe another one getting involved. We can have, and then we have documents. So we can put all the documents that we're working on. Not sure what we put on it to start with, but I guess I have to, whoops. All right. So anyway, it goes live on Thursday, probably about 5, and it's www.sccnha.org. And I'm going to be managing it with, help from ISD. So
Can you repeat that, Laura?
It's sccnha.org.
Thank you.
And when it goes live, I'd love for you to, I'll be tinkering with it before Thursday too, and trying to tweak it. But if you have any immediate feedback, please email me, and I can add, or I can, to start with anyway. But we wanted it to be a start. I'd say it's in no way inclusive, or the end product.
I think it's a work in process, and it's very attractive to this point, and I'm sure it'll be even more so and more useful in the future. All right. Are there questions? Janice, were you going to say something?
The only other thing I was going to say is we do have a flyer that we that I have to have supervisor to be approved, and then like I said, I can email all that to you, and then I think that's it. Unless you have questions or comments now.
Are there questions or comments? All right. Yes.
So who has access to this website? Everyone is open to the world, or just?
It'll be open to everyone. There will be an email address under the outreach part of it where people can. That's how they can contact us. I think it'll say. I think it'll say NHA. Anyway, I forget what it is. What the actual address is going to be. But anyway, that's how they communicate with us, and I'll have access to that. And I may be able to get more people access to that, but I can forward everything on to the task force that we get in terms of comments. There's also going to be a little kind of a register with name, where you're from, what interests you, how you want to be involved, that kind of little registration. Form.
The administrative control, though, will be with Janice.
Yeah.
She's the only person that can change it. Anybody from the public can gain access to it and interrogate it and gain information from it. Or send notices to it. If you have an idea for a theme, for example, Janice is going to have a procedure to accept those ideas to this device. Using April's primary
I was just going to say, is this the appropriate portal to do that? And I'll work with Janice to on some language to invite people to comment.
Good idea. Thank you for answering. All right, further comments or questions in regard to the webpage? Yes, Larry.
Yes, the documents would only be the final release documents, then you wouldn't want to have working documents or drafts up here.
That's accurate.
Okay, and you had our names down there, it's just our names, not addresses?
No, I'm going to put,
don't put too much
your
information.
little bios and your contact information as far as you want. I think I've only received 7 bios from all of you, but I'll put out another question for that.
Judy?
I remember very, very early on, we were asked to write a bio and provide a headshot. And that's all we want on there, right? Just to identify us.
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't send your bio and headshot in, you're not going to be on the webpage. If you send your bio, headshot, email, and address and telephone numbers, that's what's going to be on the website. So it's up to you.
Well, as much as you want to give the public.
It's up to you. All right.
So if I gave you my phone number, you can delete that then, please.
Yes.
All right. Are there further comments or questions?
It's very pretty.
It is.
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you. All right. That takes care of item number 5. We're on to the themes item in April.
I've sent members 2 reports. One is just my one-page report, and I don't want to read it to everybody, but I would like to mention that I want to thank Michael Fallon for making a joint session available to us Some members of the theme committee met with some of the academics at San Jose State, and it was a very fruitful interchange, and it goes on. And I do keep receiving themes and ideas from people, and just this week I talked informally with 3 groups that I normally meet with anyway: History San Jose's, the Sorasu Academy people, and the Clampers. And the Clampers are very excited about this process. I don't know whether that will strike fear in your heart.
It does. I can tell you it does.
They have a very ambitious program this year. They want to plaque, as they call it, 10 sites this year. So they are off and running on history for our county, and they want to be included. So, and that's my report.
Thank you very much. Are there questions in regard to item number 6? All right. Item number 7, the answers there are intuitive. In regard to April's task force, the themes task force, I hope you could be capturing every one of those good ideas that come through in 500 words or less, and integrating those into others of like type, or hanging them on your Christmas tree of innovation as you develop that general concept, and gradually consolidating those down, but not closing off the spigot, because we want to be open to new ideas until we get through these public meetings. And David, your next month and a half, I hope you retire, because CH2M is going to be missing. Yes, it's going to be a dynamic time with a lot of meetings and things to arrange. You need to work carefully with Janice so that if she needs you to call people, you can be doing that. I'll help also, and we'll make sure that we communicate effectively with our mayors and support our patron of the Board of Supervisors, President Cortese. President Cortese, by the way, leaves office in January, I guess. Is that not right?
Just as president. Just as president of the board, yes.
No,
Former as a board member.
Right, I meant as
president. Yeah.
So we'll have to start calling you the president. He becomes a supervisor, which is the best title of any position in the county, in the area. Is there any question of what your tasks are going to be, and that is to the 2 chairs?
No,
David?
we march forward.
Okay. You all set? All right, thank you very much for your good effort so far, and special thanks to Jack for his input, and to Janice and Steve for your forbearance and strong support to us. That concludes item number 7. Then, unless there are additional questions. All right, then item number, show that there were none. The item number 8 is the minutes of the September 27 meeting, which are available for your review and approval. They were in your packet. They were communicated to you by email. And thank you. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes as provided. Is there a second? Thank you, Michael. Is there debate on that motion? Is there any dissent? With no dissent, the motion carries unanimously. Let the record show that Lisa Forboni has submitted her resignation. We'll miss her. She was a very thoughtful person, but her professional travel schedule has impacted her ability to attend, and she wants us to know that she continues to support our effort, but is unable to continue to be a member of the task force. That comes to 3, the number of resignations we've had. We had 4 alternates, so we're still doing okay in terms of having a full stable of folks to attend the meetings. Are there any other matters to come before us today? Yes, Jean?
I still am unclear whether we have to take that 3-hour ethics training, since we had training at the beginning of our sessions.
We're very lucky to have Chris here, so let me remind him that we had quite a long presentation by County Council's office and the County Clerk's office at our first meeting when we were all here in Bank. And we're wondering if we need to do the individual training now, which none of us really have the time for. And would that not have been redundant to the first session?
What I don't know is whether the training at your first session complied with maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, which requires 2 hours and covers certain items. I'm just filling in today for Elizabeth Bianca, who will be back on Thursday. What I would suggest is I'll confirm with her whether the training that we've already given complies with maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 ethics training. I'll communicate with the chair about that.
Thank you very much. It did not take 2 hours, that's for sure, but it was quite detailed.
So if it was intended to comply with maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 ethics requirements, which I think it probably was, which required training every 2 years, then you would probably need to have training within 2 years.
All right, we'll wait for your ruling on this.
Yes.
And, or Elizabeth's ruling on it if you're refer it to her, and then we'll decide what to do once that comes to us.
So I did go through the chain of,
Oh, I'm sorry, Larry.
yeah, so I did go to the thing, it was over 2 hours long, and they kept on saying, since you had to fill out Form 700, you are required to do this, but we were not required to fill out Form 700, that's something about all their finances, and so I kept on wondering, why am I here at this meeting? But several of us sat through the 2 hours.
Right. Let me talk to Elizabeth and confirm it, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, we just had a comment from her to one of our task force members, Diane McKenna, who asked about having to fill out Form 700, and she was told she did not have to. So if that's the case, maybe there's some leeway on having to attend the other detailed.
Right.
The reason that I was asking Leslie, who told me I needed to attend, I thought perhaps that because we're a task force, it's not the same as a board or commission.
Well, let's see what County Council says.
That alone wouldn't require you to have this training. It sounds like you probably don't, but I want to confirm with Elizabeth.
Yeah, because what he said was he needed to take the class that you ended up with a certificate.
Well, I think if you're going to be on a county commission, a sworn county commission, then probably that is true, but I'm not sure that we fall into that category. Let's wait until County Council comes back with a ruling rather than guessing. Yes, Rose?
Is that one different than the 2-hour one you have to take online for the city of San Jose, or if you're on boards there? So you have to do that one and this one?
No, that's a good point, because you probably have already done it, haven't you? Well, let's see if it's a standard course. If it's a standard course, then anybody who serves on any of the other commissions that have already attended those would not have to do it again.
Correct. You only have to do it, if you're required to do it, even if you're on multiple commissions or you have multiple obligations to do it, you only have to attend it once, and that can count for however many that you have. You just want to make sure that the paperwork goes to each separate role that you have so that they're ready to take it. But if you've already taken the 2-hour one, which I'm guessing the City of San Jose online one, if it was 2 hours, probably satisfies the requirement. You certainly do not have to take another one.
Thank you, Chris. We'll wait for your ruling or Elizabeth's ruling, and thanks for being attending. Are there any other comments or questions to come before us today? Thanks, Judy. All right, then we are adjourned. Our next regularly scheduled meeting is when?
November 29th.
November 29th at 5:30 in the board chambers.
All right, you've heard it. It's in the minutes, and we'll see you then. In the meantime, happy Halloween.